Hi everyone, it's Heidi from Flutter by Heidi. Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based here in the United Kingdom. And today's project is using the gorgeous Positive Thoughts stamp set. Really appropriate at the moment while we're all in lockdown. And this one is using both the stamp set, which is currently available, and the dies, which were available for a short while as coordinating products and will also be available from early June. So if you want the dies, fabulous. You haven't got long to wait to get those. And if you don't, then actually you could use this by using some of our stitched rectangles and just fussy cutting some of these items out as well. You just need to do a few more of the leaves. So I'm going to show you how to create the project, and it's really quite straightforward, sort of really assembly sort of this that I'm going to show you, but a couple of things with this that I think make it really lovely. One is the Mosaic Mood designer series paper, which you've got there. Well worth getting that while you can. It makes a lovely effect, and this is on Very Vanilla, and I think it's really lovely to stamp on Very Vanilla for a change. Just gives a softer sort of feeling. So let's get started. Very straightforward. We're starting off with a standard card base, which is 29 centimeters by 10.5, and I've just scored that at 14.5 centimeters to create our card base. Then we're going to do some stamping. So I've got my stamps mounted on Stampin' Up! Blocks. And I've used a range of colours that are the ones that are in the Mosaic Mood. So this is lovely terracotta tile. So just inking that up, and you can see it's beautiful texture that you've got. Now as you go along, what I tend to do is cut that up, ready to go onto my die set. Yep. I have already die cut the square, not even a square, it's a rectangle. So that's this here, and it's got a lovely stitching effect. If you can just see, hopefully there. Oh, I'm really dark for some reason. Anyway, that's a fabulous. I can see why my lighters. Let me just move that. Hopefully that might make a bit of a difference. Or it may not. So that's got a lovely stitched effect. As I said, you could use a stitched rectangle if you wanted. The dimensions of this are just over 4.25 by just under 3 inches. So it's 11 centimeters by 7.1. So round about that. A couple of options that you could do on this one here, because I made a few of these to send out recently. I've used the subtle embossing folder as well to get a bit of texture, if you can see that. So, but you do that after you've done the stamping. Okay, so we've done our terracotta tile, terracotta tile flower. And now I'm going to use the sentiment. So great sentiment for the current times. Sending positive thoughts and feel good wishes. So I'm just going to use my grid paper to help hopefully line that up. There we go. And put my pad away before I stick my elbow in it, because that's what I'll do. Elbow, fingers, something like that. Now I'm using mint macaron for the leaves. You'll see here, and they've got a kind of a shabby sort of textured effect on them already, so you get a lovely sort of soft effect there. And then I'm using some Blushing Bride for the feather and the butterfly. And my feather. Now once you've stamped those, that's my dog appearing. Hello Nimbus. He's like a lot of dogs. He's loving this humans being around all the time. My cats, not so much. I think they're more, when on earth are you lot going to disappear? Whereas my dog is kind of going, oh, she's here again, this is great. There's been some really funny photos around comparing cats and dogs' reactions to the lockdown, and I can certainly say that my cats are in there. So these are all the dies here. So you can see we've got lovely leaf one, and again with these you just line them up like so. I'm using my magnetic plate. That just makes life an awful lot easier. And just pop those onto your plate, and that's why I cut them out, because it just enables me to spread them. So actually I can get these done in pretty much one pass. I'll obviously need to, I've already cut my, die cut my other one out, but that comes out separately. And then obviously with the flower, just spread that out a bit. And with your magnetic plate, it's pretty worth it. Something I don't say, you might find they jump around a little bit. If they do, just move the paper till you find a spot where it really grips well. My plates are really old, so they really probably do need replacing now, and that does make life easier when they're so a bit misshapen. But with the flower, all I do is, if I can't immediately see which way it is, I look for kind of like a high spot and see if one of the poking out leaves works there. There we go. So just twist it around. I probably ought to put a little mark on to line it up, but just keep turning it until you get it aligned. So just pop those on and then pop those through your die cutting machine. And I also cut out some others. So here we go. Here are all my pieces which we've die cut out. So I've used some terracotta tile, and one thing I do as well for my layers is I gut. So when we gut, this is what we're talking about, it's cutting the middle section out. It just means that you can use that bit. For example, I could use that to cut out the strip, which I'm having difficulty picking up. So that would fit that, or you can just keep it for some punching later on. So this piece of card is 14 by 10 centimetres, and then I've just layered that with a piece of our mosaic mood paper, and that is 13.5 by 9.5, so just a ½ centimetre border. And then what I'm going to do is just pop some tear and tape around the outside edge. This here. Like so. Just press that down well. And then we do our bunny ears. So, she says, hopefully. There you go. Bunny ears is where you just turn back a corner of the tape. Like so. So it just sticks out. And you do that on all 4 pieces. And I do it so that it's just one corner like that, opposite, and then just pop that onto your gutted piece and line it up. And once you've lined it up, press the corners down. You can then pull your tape away, but it just gives you a little bit more opportunity to lift up if it isn't quite aligned. So that's our layer, and we're going to use exactly the same technique to pop that onto our card front. So again, now tear and tape is, as what it says, it will literally just tear with a gentle motion of your nail. If you don't like doing that, then just bring your snips in and just snip those away. So again, just press down well to make sure it's well adhered. And don't be tempted to pull too tight when you put your tear and tape on either, otherwise you'll get a little bit of bend in your card or paper. So again, 4 bunny ears. Piercing tool to the rescue, she says, hopefully. There we go. Or edge of snips. There we go. So again, I've folded those back. Get your card blank, decide which way you want it to show. Again, just hold it down while you pull those pieces of tape away. Okay, so there we have our card base, and with this one I'm now going to create our front panel. So the first bit I'm going to do is to add this onto the back of the card. Now you can use a range of methods with this. I find the easiest way with these, because it's glued to the edge, is I just put my tear and tape across the edge, pull that all the way off, and then just align that like so. So you get your border on the edge. There you go, like so. I'm going to put some Stampin' dimensionals on the back, and I'll probably use my larger ones for this, because it's a reasonably large sort of surface area. So pop one of those in each corner, and then kind of in the middle, and then you might just to sort of support it. And that's because we've got quite a few layers. Now if you're popping this through the post, I know some of you have different restrictions. Obviously it's not going to go through as a standard letter with the layers on, but it should go as a large letter. But these cards are lovely if you're going to give them to somebody in person, but you could make it flatter by just sticking this one straight onto the onto the card, which is what I've done here. So that's kept it quite a lot flatter. So you can do it in either way, and then just centre that panel on the front of your card. Now when we're adding our die cuts here, I always like to shape them a little bit, so don't be too vigorous. And that one obviously messed up. Yeah, just create a little bit, and just pop some dimensionals on the back there. So I've got a few mini dimensionals just to support those leaves, but we're not going to want all of them because it's going to sort of hang over the side slightly, and we want it to have that natural shaping. As soon as you put dimensionals on it, it'll flatten that bit out. So if we just add that, and you see, just hang that over the side slightly. Now it does depend on your preference. Now with this one, it is embossed with the die already, but I'm just gently squeezing that to create a better shape, and I'm then going to add some wet glue when it comes to the end, along that sort of ridge, almost the spine of the feather, so that I can pop that on the edge there. I'm going to shape my mint macaron version as well, exactly the same way, and on this one, because it overhangs the edge, going to pop it on that bottom section like so. So again, we're just making sure it's not overhanging the whole card. Now with the flower, there is a centre section for this flower, but I did try it and wasn't so keen because I think it's sort of detracted from the effect of the flower for me, so I decided not to use that. And then the other feather I've just shaped, and then with the butterfly, again just use your bone folder, gently shape, and then fold in half, and just kind of create a little bridge there. So I'm just going to pop a dimensional on the back of our feather. I'm saying these shapes could be fussy cut out if you wanted. I'm going to put a dimensional just in the middle there, and what I've done is I've just sort of almost created sort of a triangle shape there. Pop that flower in, and then the last bit is just our finishing touch to pop our butterfly in. Really shouldn't shake it like that over my card, because one of these days it is going to just deposit glue everywhere, isn't it? So there we have a Feel Good Wishes card, which you can make flat. You can obviously emboss that panel if you want to, and you'll get this effect here. So there we have another 3 cards which I can send out to my friends and neighbours, just wishing them well at this time. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. If you'd like to purchase any of the products, pop along to my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk. The links are there. Alternatively, pop along to my shop at heidismith.stampinup.net. Take care. Bye now.